Hi, this is Angie, also known as The Light, and this is part one, or an extension of the Narcissist Father. If you're just now tuning into my channel, basically, I was starting off with my experience with the Narcissist Father, my stepfather, basically. And if you're looking for a textbook, narcissism experiences, I can't give you that. I can only give you what I've been through personally growing up, and I'm gonna just give you the rundown of this crazy individual that was in my life and how I basically got rid of him. Also, I believe in God, and I'm going to be mentioning some spiritual aspects. I'm not religious, but I am spiritual, and I'm going to be mentioning God from time to time because that basically, that source, him or she or it, however you refer to God, is the reason why I was able to get through this experience. Growing up with this narcissist stepfather was pretty much like growing up with a drill sergeant. He had some background in corrections. He was a correction officer. He also was in the army. So I think that kind of, what is the word, worsens the illness, the demon inside of them. It's an ego boost. This gentleman was fairly attractive, dressed well, a good build, about 6'3", attractive facially, took care of himself, dressed well, groomed himself, got a manicure, got a pedicure, kind of like a little bit of a metrosexual type. Pretty much a desirable individual, because on the outside he seemed perfect. He did drive a nice car, and I remember he had a this is like back in the day when nobody had cell phones, car phones in their car, but he did. I remember that. I remember also he was that person that everyone looked up to, pretty much. In the neighborhood, I would say the kids were very scared of him. He always gave this stern look. It was always just like a mean look. People were saying, gosh, your father is so mean. And I wouldn't say I was afraid of him, but I definitely always felt I wanted to impress him. I had to be on point, or I didn't want to get beat, pretty much. Another thing about him is he was very controlling when it came to my mother. My mother was a very attractive woman, and a couple of times I remember him like making her change her clothing. Like, she wasn't allowed to wear certain clothing. She wasn't a heavy set woman like myself. She was much slender than I, and a very nice body. And I remember him always telling her, like, I don't want you wearing that shirt, or you have to wear a shirt that covers your butt. You can't show your behind. You can't, she wasn't even dressing sexy. She had a nice shape, and it didn't matter if she had on sweatpants or she had on jeans. You can tell that she had a nice physique, and he controlled everything that she did. She wouldn't even use a phone until after he left. I remember there was times where he would follow her when she would go just to the grocery store. He'll be, just like, we're walking down the street and he's driving on the side, like, instead of saying, honey, get in the car, I'll drive you to the store, he's literally watching her. While she's walking down the street. She wasn't allowed to work. No. Work? No. My mother had a degree. She had plenty of job experience where she could have made a great income. But she was not allowed to work. He wanted her home. My mother was the type to cook every single day. He had her cooking every day. And at the time growing up, it's like, oh, this is great. Mommy picks me up from school. She cooking meals every day. She's an at-home mom, but she was very unhappy about that. And I remember a couple of times her saying, like, I wish that I can work. I didn't understand it. Excuse me. What does she mean? She wishes that she can work. And thank God, major cheater, big time cheater. So this cheating allowed him to be outside of the home a lot, where I kind of felt like my mother basically raised my stepsister and I alone. So, the rules were my stepsister and I couldn't watch television for more than an hour during the week, but because he wasn't home, my mom let us pretty much, be individuals and get away with murder, pretty much. But when he was home, there was really no fun. It was always an anxiety feeling being around him. And I remember I used to pray, oh my gosh, dear God, please let mommy, divorce dad. I was very unhappy. I got tired of seeing my mom. Don't think that your children don't know what's going on. Yes, they do. They understand everything. Everything. You don't even know your children could be in their bedroom right now praying, I wish that mommy and daddy get divorced, because children do not want to see their mommy and their daddy unhappy. It's body language. I don't even care if you fake hugs. That energy that you're giving off, kids know when there's abuse going on. Kids know when you're unhappy. Kids know. They feel it. You feel it. That energy. Anyway, our house had to be like a magazine, and it's just, it was crazy. I remember us having these birds. He had two birds, and if he walked in and it was one little bird seed on the carpet, I mean, he'll go crazy. These narcissists notice very detailed things. It's almost like they have like I don't know, microscopic vision or something. They see everything. I mean, you could say something under your breath, they heard you. It's like their senses are heightened. This is beyond human, in my opinion. This is a demonic force within them. So their senses are heightened. On the outside, people thought this guy was this perfect guy, and I mean, even his license plate was, very religious. Oh yeah, the everything was about religion, and will make you feel like if you did anything wrong, you're going straight to hell. His license plate was even from the hymnal. It as well. If anyone knows the hymnal, the song, it as well, with my soul. Anyway, fake. I mean, he had friends watching me, my stepsister, my mother. He had friends in high places. He had to know where we were at all times. And I see why he had my mother at home, because he was out there cheating. He was cheating with women in the church. He was sleeping with his sister-in-law. He was he also had a mistress for 7 years of the 12 years that he was with my mother. Also, he would beat my mother whenever he had his little narcissist outbursts, whenever she didn't want to have sex with him. She didn't trust him. I remember, seeing my mom a few times. My mother was even lighter skinned than I. I remember her walking around with big, big shades, bigger than these frames to cover black eyes. Basically, I honestly, I don't know if I repressed it. I don't remember ever seeing him hit her. I just remember the fighting, the arguing, the hearing things crashing, at night. And in the morning, you know, seeing that my mother had a black eye. These people I can be very violent. A lot of times people say, oh, narcissists are allowed to talk. There are some that aren't talk. So I guess he would be considered the overt narcissist. He could be considered the somatic narcissist. Over the top. Yes, these individuals can get to that point. I don't think necessarily a lot of them use violence, but this particular one, which is overt, used violence. He would, I mean, this man was a big man, 6'3", 6'5", 200 and something pounds, would put his knee in my mother's chest, or, choke her out, punch her in the eye. And this was very embarrassing for her, because I remember one particular incident. They went on a retreat with their church, and he punched her out in the hotel. And she walked around with that black eye, and lied and said she fell. I mean, these individuals are crazy. They can get there. And when they're so used to you being that codependent, they're so used to you listening to everything that they tell you to do, and you try to get yourself together and stick up for yourself, they'll attack you. Those somatic, the overts, they will attack you. I really do believe that. There was also molestation involved. These individuals are very perverted. I do remember, waking up sometimes in my sleep with him touching me. I don't ever remember any penetration. So if you are aware that somebody's a narcissist and you have children, you need to watch out for your children, and you need to get out of that situation. That shit can get there. And then what? And then what? My mother basically had to escape. My mother left with nothing. I think we left with just clothing. I was 12 years old when she decided to leave this man, and we left with just my clothing. I don't even think he gave her her clothes. All the furniture which she paid for in our home, he took that furniture, moved into another house in another state with the woman he cheated with for 7 years, and slept on that furniture, slept on their bedroom set that he had with my mother. They don't care. This is unhuman behavior. This is a demon. This is a demonic thing that is inside of them, controlling their every move. And no, they don't feel any type of remorse for what they did. It was so weird and odd that maybe 10 years after they broke up, he randomly sent her $1,000 check. $1,000? Like, that doesn't solve anything. I have no idea why he did that. It was just so strange. It was randomly after finally my mother had gotten married after 10 years of divorcing this individual, he sends her $1,000 check. Like, to me, that's an insult. For the beatings, the cheating, the stealing, the drug use. I mean, that's crazy. That's insane. So this is the somatic. This is the overt narcissist that I grew up with. And because of this is the reason why I was immune to the bullshit. I was immune to the bad treatment and seeing that. But for a long time I said, what? I will never get married. If that's what a father does, a father beats on his wife, you know, a husband beats on his wife, cheats on her, tells her what to do, you know, neglects the children, leaves me at home by myself to raise the kids and, maintain the household. What the hell would I want a husband for? So this is something that God had to really heal me from, to show me like, no, that was unhealthy. That was incorrect. That wasn't normal. So that's the narcissistic stepfather. That was the first narcissist, as some of you say, monster. I really wouldn't call narcissists monsters. I do believe that some people say that they're not human. I think that they are human individuals that a demonic force has overtaken their bodies. And I do think that they can be restored, but only God can restore that particular individual, that particular soul. Again, I'm going to continue with more about the narcissist father. I'll probably do one more video. I don't want to focus too much on this individual. I want to move on to other individuals that affected my life. Pretty much. So, until next time, peace and blessings.